Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
Never Again by Katakurii. Luffy loses his nakama and gets another chance. He gets sent back in time and gives his powers and knowledge to his younger self. Will he be able to save his nakama? I don't own anything. Adios.
Chapter 7. The not-so-superior fishman Arlong, Nami Swan. I have food for you, Sanji raved, treating Nami with the best fruit cupcake. And here's your bloody meat, he unfriendly muttered to everyone else. The cook liked it on Mary. He loved compliments about his food, although he only really loved Nami's compliments. Luffy was a special case. Him dubbing Sanji, best cook of the world, was pretty nice to hear for the blonde, but his immeasurable gluttony, especially with meat, started annoying the new pirate. How can a single person eat that much? That's the ninth plate already, he wondered. Suddenly, a giant sea cow monster-like creature emerged from the sea, looking at the going Mary. His head alone was bigger than Mary. Ah! Johnny and Yosaku screamed, he's going to eat us. Following the scream of the idiot pair, Sanji decided to approach the monster with some meat he originally planned to serve Luffy. Here sea cow, don't be afraid. He gently spoke, offering him the captain's meat. Sanji was a calm and peaceful man who would never attack an animal. He wouldn't have attacked the giant sea mammal if he didn't try to eat the cook's hands, which the cow did. Don't push your luck, Sanji shouted, jumping upwards. Collie or shoot. The cow mooed in pain as Sanji hit him hard by his neck. Go away now, before I turn you into a steak. Sanji, wait, Luffy exclaimed. We can use him to pull Mary. Someone, get a rope. Roger, Captain Luffy, Usopp loudly said, running inside to search for a rope. I'm on it, Zoro told, helping Usopp searching. The injured sea monster attempted to flee, but Luffy held him tight due to his Gomu Gomu powers. You're not going anywhere, he called, but not in a threatening tone. 2 minutes later, the Straw Hats managed to put a collar around his neck. Moo! He screamed, depressed by his defeat and capture. Nami and Luffy were standing in the front end of Mary's deck, while the others were somewhere else. Hey Luffy. Nami began, a little more communicative than ever. Did you know Momu is actually from the Grand Line? No, I didn't. Luffy lied. Arlong brought it here with him 10 years ago. He's from the Grand Line too, she said, little to no expressions on her face. What does a fishman want in the East Blue? The 17-year-old asked. He came here with his crew to terrorize us humans, the ginger stated, and to get some money. What did you experience in those 10 years? Luffy questioned, fully aware of what happened to his navigator. I went through hell, she growled, unable to hold back tears. This asshole killed my mother when she didn't have enough money to pay the monthly survival tribute. It is a tribute you pay monthly to Arlong to stay alive. My mother didn't have enough money, so she sacrificed herself to save me and my sister Najiko. She was then unscrupulously shot by Arlong. After he learned about my map drawing skills, he kidnapped me and forced me to draw maps for him. One day I felt like I was betraying my fellow villagers, so I made a deal with Arlong. If I get 100 million berry together, he'll let my village Kokoyashi be free again. That's the reason I robbed many people, especially pirates. Until I pay him, the girl explained, showing what's left of her tattoo. I am practically his slave. This is my slave marking. Luffy was fuming inside. He remembered that he was nowhere near this angry the first time he was told this story. But hearing it directly from his crying nakama made everything worse. I swear Arlong, I'll make you pay for what you did to my nakama. You can come out now, the Straw Hat ordered, a deep voice coming out of his mouth, his eyes darker than his hair. Right after the order was given, Zoro, Usopp, Sanji, Johnny and Yosaku came out of their hiding. The Straw Hat's eyes had the same dark expression as the eyes of their captain. Johnny and Yosaku weren't as sternly looking as Zoro, Sanji, or even Usopp, but still a little. The overall look of the scenery changed, as the sky was now covered and lighting struck pitch-black clouds. Nami-san, I promise those fishmen will get hurt real bad, Sanji declared, free from all love talk. An enemy of my friend is my enemy, Zoro told her, his confidence at highest despite the injury he has recently suffered. I'll do my best to help you, Nami, I won't let you down, Usopp called, showing absolutely no signs of fear. We will help you too, Nami and Eki, Johnny stated. I indeed, Yosaku added. Thank you so much, guys. Nami started to cry, touched by her nakama's will to help her. Nami, do you have 100 million berry? Luffy asked, reassuring her. Why yes, with the money on board, it should exactly be 100 million, she said. Good. Listen, ask a friend to borrow you a cart or a barrow. Load the money on it, then bring it to Arlong. If he betrays you, we'll step in and kick his ass, the teenager explained. Oh okay, I'll do so, she said, stepping off the ship as it arrived in Kokoyashi. A good hour has been since Nami left to get the money. Luffy and his nakama along with Johnny and Yosaku waited in front of Arlong Park, the Arlong Pirates headquarters and Arlong's residence. Few seconds later, the ginger girl finally made it to Arlong Park with a cart full of money, gold and treasures. "It's here," she exclaimed, panting heavily. It appears that she pulled the cart all the way to the fishman. "Your money is finally here. Now let go of Kokoyashi." Shahahaha. Shahahaha. Arlong laughed, betraying Nami, who felt like falling into the ground. "Captain Nezumi, I think you want to look at this," he viciously said, pointing at her crying slave's treasure worth 100 million berry. Chi. What do we have here?" The rat-themed marine spoke. "Gold and money worth 100 million berry, stolen from various pirates. A wonderful thing to be confiscated." A certain straw hat felt fury build up in him, just like the ones around him. "Arlong, betraying and making my nakama cry was your biggest mistake. Now you're going to face my full wrath. You too, Nezumi," the boy thought before he smashed Arlong Park's gate open with one hand. "Who are you?" Arlong roared, looking at the 6 human males walking into Arlong Park. "Your worst nightmare," Luffy simply answered before shifting his gaze at Nezumi. "You corrupt bastard," he yelled as he punched the corrupt marine hundreds of meters away using Gomu no pistol. The marines under Nezumi reacted by shooting at Luffy, only for the rubber man to repel the bullets back, injuring but not killing them. "Who are you?" Arlong repeated, this time more severely. "What do you want?" "Who I am, your worst nightmare, future Pirate King Monkey D. Luffy. What I want, make you pay for what you did to Nami," the black-haired answered, so calm yet so threatening. "Shahahahaha. A mere human can't become Pirate King, stop dreaming. Then I shall show you what one mere human can do. Gomu no Muchi," he exclaimed, knocking out all of Arlong's regular men. "Zoro, you take that octopus, don't kill him though. Sanji, you take on that guy with those weird arms, and Usopp, you take on big lips," the pirate captain ordered, addressing Hachin, Hachi, Karubi and Chu. "Oi, understand," the 3 straw hats spoke, making their way to said fishmen. "What about us?" Johnny and Yosaku asked in a unison. "Do whatever you want, I'm not your captain," Luffy answered. "Grr, you think you can come here and challenge me?" Arlong yelled. "I'm gonna show you who the boss is." "I'm waiting, Arfong," Luffy spoke, teasing Arlong even more. "You pathetic human, you'll wish you've never been born, shark on darts," he shouted, attacking Luffy at high speed. Gomu no Suchi," the straw hat exclaimed, grabbing the flying Arlong, then spinning him around and crashing him into the ground. "Ow, that hurt, you bastard," Arlong roared, now seeing Luffy as a threat. "I'm gonna hurt you even more, but that's not even close to how you hurt Nami's feelings," Luffy yelled at him. "All she has to do is draw maps for me." "Care to repeat that?" The 17-year-old glared at Nami's oppressor like a psychopath. "I said, screw her feelings, all she has to do is draw maps for me." With that said, Arlong sealed his fate. Luffy raised his fist for his next attack. Gomu no rifle. Upon impact, the saw-shark fishman flew right into Arlong Park, bleeding and with a broken nose. Surprisingly, he managed to stand up after that devastating attack from Luffy. Following that, his eyes turned red and blind rage overtook his healthy mind. "You stupid human," he screamed, powerful enough to create sound waves capable of crumbling stones. "This isn't possible, you cannot win against a superior fishman." "Superior means stronger, right?" Luffy mocked him, enraging the tyrant even more. "If you're really so strong, why did you came to the weakest sea to terrorize helpless people on an island without a marine base, Armgong? Shut up, human, I'm going to kill you," he uncontrollably screamed, reaching for a saw-like blade resembling his nose. "Oh no," Nami exclaimed in fear. "He only gets out Kiribachi if he wants to wreck everything, watch out Luffy." For 2 reasons, one of them being dodging Kiribachi, Luffy jumped into a room in Arlong Park. Arlong followed him of course. Inside, Arlong decided to taunt Luffy in return. "You see this room? This is where I forced Nami to draw my maps," he proudly stated. "I see." Luffy calmly spoke, yet hiding a storm. "Then I must destroy the room Nami hates the most." And so he began ripping maps in two, one by one. Arlong watched furiously as a boy destroyed his work that lasted 10 years. "What are you doing?" the furious fishman screamed, attempting to kill the human with Kiribachi. Luffy reacted quickly. "Armament," he muttered. Before hitting him, Luffy caught Kiribachi with his haki-covered teeth and bit the first of the 6 saw teeth in pieces. Arlong watching in disbelief. How can a human bite through Kiribachi? No, I'm going insane. The Straw Hat then turned his gaze to Arlong and told him to look outside. "Humph! You won't get away with this, Takoashi Kaiken," Hachin exclaimed, charging at Zoro in front of Arlong Park. "Santoryu! Tatsumaki!" Zoro called, defeating the octopus fishman. "Hachi!" Arlong shouted, mourning his friend's defeat against Zoro. Meanwhile, Sanji was fighting Karubi. "Hyakumegawara Saiken," Karubi exclaimed, trying to punch Sanji. However, the fighting cook blocked it. "Poitrine," he shouted, followed by "Jigit," and finally, "Muton shot." Karubi was bested by Sanji's leg attacks. After his victory, he lighted himself a cigarette. "Karubi," Arlong shouted, not capable to understand how his strongest man was defeated by a human. And then, unexpectedly, Usopp came running from the woods. "I won, mighty Usopp defeated a fishman," the sniper joyfully declared, impressing everyone. Even Chu, the saw shark, shouted in disbelief. "And now to you," Luffy called. "Watch how I destroy Arlong Park." "You inferior piece of shit, I will fucking kill you," the red-eyed fishman pirate screamed in rage. "You might be enraged because I'm destroying what you worked for in 10 years, but I'll never forgive you for making my nakama cry," the pirate captain stated, standing firm and tall like iron. "Shark on tooth," Arlong yelled as he charged at Luffy faster than ever. "Armament," Luffy exclaimed, covering his full body in armament haki. "Gomu Gomu no Ono." This meant the end for Arlong Park. After the teenager executed his attack by stretching his foot out of the roof, breaking it in the process, then bringing it down crashing on the floor, the yellow mansion known as Arlong Park crumbled like a house of cards and the crashing sound roared through the night. After some moments of silence, a haki-covered Luffy emerged from the rubble. "Nami, I can't erase all of your pain, but I managed to lower it a bit." Emotionally touched, the girl ran into her hero's arms and cried, happy he's safe. "Oh Nami, if you just always were so lovable and not bitchy like most time." Learning about Arlong's defeat, the people of Kokoyasi arranged a feast for the Straw Hat Pirates. Sanji flirted with the women. Usopp told kids about his adventures, Zoro drank his sake, and Nami and Luffy had a talk with Kokoyasi's mayor Genzo. At first it was about the village's gratitude, then it got to business. "If you hang these flags on not only this village, but also on the other villages on this island and its neighbor islands, you'll be protected by us, the Straw Hats." "Hold on a second. We can't be protected by a pirate, and besides, we've been occupied by pirates and suffered greatly under them," Genzo complained. Nami's mother was one of many casualties here. Nami looked sad at first, but then smiled. "Uncle Genzo-san, Belmere may have died, but Luffy here has made me believe not all pirates are bad. He's a good guy, please, trust him." "Yes, Nami is my nakama. I wouldn't do anything that would hurt her," Luffy said, smiling at the mustached man with scars all over his face. "Okay, I'll accept. Coming back to Nami, boy, if you ever make her cry, I'll hunt you down and kill you," the mayor warned the pirate. "As I said before, I'd never do anything that would hurt her," Luffy told him once again. Genzo smiled in relief. "Good, let's go eat something." The next day, after some more eating and loading resources on the ship, the Straw Hats went on to set sail again. Johnny and Yosaku decided to stay in Kokoyasi, located somewhere on the Kanami Islands, which were all Straw Hat territories now. Oddly, the female navigator struggled to get on board. "Nami, what is it?" Luffy asked, concerned about the well-being of his nakama. "You know," she began, "when you finally get your home back, you have a hard time leaving." Luffy perfectly understood what she meant. "I know exactly what gets her on the ship, she can't resist that," he thought, chuckling inside. "Your 100 million berry is on Mary. Don't you dare touch my treasure," she yelled with shark teeth, running on Mary. Upon the pirate ship, Luffy noticed her Arlong Pirate's tattoo was missing. "Hey Nami, can you tell me where your tattoo is?" "I told a doctor to remove it, nobody needs that kind of memory," she explained, smiling just as bright as Luffy sometimes. "Haha, right," Luffy agreed, followed by shared laughter between the Straw Hats. 5 minutes later, they set sail, waving their hands at their new friends. In a marine base somewhere in the East Blue, Captain Nezumi, sitting in his office, called the marine headquarters. He wanted to request a high bounty on Monkey D. Luffy, his new enemy. "Hello, marine headquarters, Nezumi here. Listen, I demand a high bounty on a new dangerous pirate. His name is Monkey D. Luffy. I've looked up what he's done so far and you'll not believe this, he's defeated Bonus Arc, Iron Mace, Alvida, Axehand Morgan, Buggy the Clown, Kuro of 100 Plans, Foul Play, Krieg, and now Arlong the Saw. Not to mention the minor criminals and marines he's defeated or assaulted, like Nezumi. This kid is a bigger threat than I thought. We can't let vermin like this roam around freely." A rear admiral who visited 153rd Branch said, looking at Luffy's wanted poster. "Wanted. Dead or alive. Monkey D. Luffy, 80.000.000 berry." Kobe, who was a chore boy in 153rd Branch along with Helmeppo who he had befriended, saw Luffy's wanted poster and had mixed feelings about this. "Helmeppo-san, is that good or bad? It shows that Luffy is pretty strong, but won't the Marines hunt him down with such a high bounty like that?" he asked his friend. "Bad I guess, he's a newbie with a high bounty, which means the higher rank will try to get his head as soon as possible to eliminate the young threat, Helmeppo answered. But I don't want him to be hunted by so many of us, he's my friend, the pink-haired said. Are you crazy? Helmeppo quietly exclaimed, putting his hand in front of his friend's. Marines, your friend is a pirate. You'll be thrown out faster than you can say, pirate. So, who's your friend? Kobe and Helmeppo looked behind. Marine hero Vice Admiral Garp, who visited 153rd branch for fun, was kneeling behind them. He heard every single word of their conversation. Ah! The two screamed, trying to run away before having the shit beat out of them by the old man. Later that day, in their cabin, Helmeppo and his friend had a serious conversation. No way, you can't actually want him to train us, the blonde exclaimed, opposing his roommate's idea. But Helmeppo-san, Garp-san is a marine hero and considered to be as strong as the fleet admiral. If he trains us, we can become stronger and can stop mopping the floors and stuff like that. The boy with glasses answered, defending his idea. Meh, do what you want, I'm not in it, Helmeppo stated. Kobe started doing some push-ups, one by one. Having nothing to do, the egghead grew bored and decided to train too. For the next month or so, the chore boy duo trained and fought with Garp every day. Despite the huge difference in power, the two new Marines improved themselves every day. For each day passing, they stood 3 seconds longer against Garp. But in the end, the Vice Admiral beat both of them without dropping a sweat. It's hopeless, Helmeppo muttered, bruises covering his body. You were right, we can't beat him. Kobe spoke, at the same state as his friend. He's just too strong. I thought you wouldn't give up like that, Garp said, punching the two on top of their heads with his fists as he appeared behind them. Vice Admiral Garp, the now weak duo stuttered. I decided to take you with me to the Marine headquarters, you lil brats. Awesome, the chore boys yelled at each other, filled with joy. But Garp spoke, you will wish you can go back to your mommies, your training will be worse than hell. Nonetheless, the two decided to go with the hero to fulfill their dreams. Becoming good Marines. Chapter 8, Father and Son. Reactions to Luffy's bounty. On the Moby, Whitebeard's ship. Father, you won't believe this, Ace exclaimed, running towards his new Captain Whitebeard alongside Sabo. Look at this is our little brother. He handed his brother's wanted poster to Whitebeard aka Edward Newgate. Alongside the gigantic old man there were Marco, his 1st Division commander, and Thatch, his 4th Division commander. Ace and Sabo both became 2nd Division commanders after they joined the Whitebeard pirates. Whitebeard, Marco and Thatch looked at Luffy's wanted poster. Wanted, dead or alive. Monkey D. Luffy, 80.000.000 berry. Gurarararara, that's a high first bounty for a brat like you too. The captain remarked, observing Luffy's wanted poster, just like Marco and Thatch. Probs cause he's using Haki. Marco said, pointing out the 17-year-old's picture. It was Monkey D. Luffy's angry-looking face covered in black armament Haki, matching the pitch-black clouds in the background, which are struck by dark purple lightnings. Boy, a beginner from the East Blue is able to use Haki, guess he's gonna be a big pirate sooner or later. Thatch commented, his face smiling as always. Yeah, I think so too. As a kid Luffy always talked about becoming Pirate King. Ace and I had the same dream so we constantly argued. Luffy wanted to become Pirate King on his own and took his decision so seriously that he refused to come with us when Ace and I set sail 3 years ago. Sabo told, remembering the old days. Man, you should see how stubborn he is, it's unreal, Ace added, somewhat annoyed and proud. Even though, he'll always be our brother. Gurarararara, how funny you brats are, Whitebeard laughed, initiating everyone else to laugh too. Somewhere in the East Blue, Dracule Mahawk hadn't returned to the Grand Line yet. Instead he decided to go to a tropical island in the East Blue to rest a little. A seagull brought him the newest newspaper, including a wanted poster. He looked at the wanted poster of the boy he'd previously met. Wanted, dead or alive. Monkey D. Luffy, 80.000.000 berry. A Haki user in the East Blue with a starter bounty of 80 million, interesting, he thought, keeping his trademark, death stare, expression on his face. A few minutes later after wandering the sandy beach in front of thousands of green palm trees, the swordsman met Shanks and his crew, who were sitting around a campfire, seriously drunk. Mahawk decided to just stare at what he's looking at without a word, like always. Oi Mahawk. A drunk Shanks yelled in a happy mood. Long time no see, what are you doing around here? Resting a little before I return home. He muttered. By the way, have you ever heard of someone named Monkey D. Luffy? Luffy? Holy moly, it's been 10 years. Yeah, I know him. I used to call him Anchor back in the days. Tell me, have you met him? I met him yesterday where he took out Don Krieg, strong kid. His swordsman is considered the best in the East Blue, but only a fly compared to ones from the Grand Line. The Shichibukai explained before handing out Luffy's wanted poster to the redhead. This is his wanted poster, it came out today. Shanks glared at the wanted poster belonging to the kid he met 10 years ago. His crew gathered behind him to look at it too. Hey Captain, let us see too. Wanted. Dead or alive. Monkey D. Luffy, 80.000.000 Berry. The red hair pirates had different reactions. Some dropped their jaws, some just nodded, and some started laughing. Shanks. Dahahaha, that's our Luffy. Geez, how can you react like that? Mihawk thought, opting to leave. But Shanks pulled him back. Hold on, I can't allow you to leave, come party with us. A certain Yonko demanded, red on his cheeks from drinking too much. A little drink can't be bad, the swordsman muttered, sitting down with the rest of them. In the Marine headquarters, Fleet Admiral Sengoku was sitting in his office and he clearly was not happy. He previously called Garp in, who burst out laughing. I don't know what's funny, Garp. Remember the last time a black-haired man with a straw hat made himself a big name? History could repeat itself. Sengoku roared at Garp. BWAAHAHAHAHAHAJ. That's my grandson, BWAAHAHAHAHAJ. The Vice Admiral yelled, laughing and eating donuts. How could you be proud of a family like that? Your son is the most wanted man in the world. Your two adoptive grandsons are Yonko commanders. And your biological grandson has a high chance of becoming the next Roger. Geez, Garp. What's wrong with your family? The Marine with an afro exclaimed. Relax, when I see Luffy, he's going to taste my fist of love, the Marine hero stated. You better do so, he's able to use Haki judging by his photo, Sengoku said. I've been able to use Haki before Dragon was born, he can't surpass me, Luffy's grandfather claimed, suddenly upset that his donut box is empty. Whatever, I'm leaving, bye. Good, but this time use the door please, the Fleet Admiral desperately begged. Nope, not cool enough. Garp spoke, punching a fridge-sized hole in his best friend's office's wall, leaving after that. Ga Arp. On the going merry. Nami cursed about how expensive newspapers are, while she obtained the newest newspaper along with the most recent wanted posters from a newspaper delivering Seagull. She then looked at the wanted posters, from the lowest to the highest bounties. Nothing interesting here, the orange-haired thought, before looking at the highest bounty. After that she gasped for air. Guys, look at Luffy's new bounty, the navigator exclaimed, running towards her nakama. The Straw Hats looked at Luffy's wanted poster and gasped for air, like Nami, except their captain. Wanted. Dead or alive. Monkey D. Luffy, 80.000.000 Berry. L. Luffy, why your bounty? Usopp stammered in fear, looking like a giant spider was about to eat him. He had never seen such a high bounty before. I knew you were strong, but that strong? Zoro exclaimed, the least frightened about his captain's first bounty. Luffy, that's the highest bounty someone's ever received in the East Blue. You just broke a record, Nami stated, also in fear. Yeah, with such a high bounty you'll attract trouble like crazy, and then Nami Swan will be in danger. Have some respect for women, Sanji said, raving a little. Luffy rolled his eyes at Sanji's remark. Says you. He called, the others knowing what's up. The first mate looked at the wanted poster again. Seeing his captain's black skin, he decided to question the black-haired. Oi Luffy, why do you turn black sometimes? It's not the first time I saw this. Actually, now that I think about it, your skin does look weird. Tell me Luffy, what is that? Sanji added, curious about his captain's skills and secrets. It's good that you ask. Luffy spoke, turning to everyone on board. I wanted to tell you this for a long time, and now that my core members are here, I can tell you. What you see there is Haki. Haki? Usopp asked, not knowing what Haki is. Haki is a power you have to awaken from your willpower. There are 3 types of Haki: Observation Haki, Armament Haki and King's Haki. Observation Haki is a power where you can sense the presence of others around you. The better you master this ability, the further you can detect the presence of others. Another ability Observation Haki grants you is the ability to predict your opponent's attacks, making it easier to either evade them or block them. Luffy explained. For example, Zoro, try to hit me with your swords. Are you really telling me to attack you? The swordsman asked, thinking it's wrong to attack one's captain. Don't worry, nothing's gonna happen to me, the team reassured the green-haired. Okay, if that's what you want, Zoro said, attempting to slash Luffy, who easily dodged each attack of his nakama. After a while, Zoro became exhausted. Wheeze, you win, Luffy. Thanks. Zoro, from now on, to awaken your observation Haki you aim 2 swords. Understand? I'm sure fighting with less swords helps you concentrate against your opponents. And when you fight against weaker opponents, try to do this with your eyes closed, okay? The 17-year-old told his swordsman. I'll follow your orders, Captain. The green-haired promised, much to Luffy's pleasure. And now to the next lesson. Armament Haki is a power where you embed your body or your weapons in armor created by willpower. This is the reason why sometimes my body turns black. Another ability you get with armament haki is the ability to injure logia users, since blunt attacks don't work on them. Speaking of blunt attacks, if someone without armament haki hits someone with armament haki, the attack is useless, no matter how strong the one attacking is. Luffy continued. To demonstrate this I will show you something. Sanji, kick my face with full force. At first Sanji disagreed, but after Luffy's encouragement and some reassuring, the cook kicked Luffy's haki-covered face. Did it hurt? Sanji asked, after kicking his captain's face. No, not at all. Luffy answered. Sanji, I want you to awaken your armament haki, and you too, Zoro. What else do you want from me, to take over everyone's position or what? Zoro yelled with sharp teeth. You're the vice captain, so I expect you to be the strongest in my crew. Luffy explained, knowing how to deal with situations like this. If that's the case, then I'll do everything you want, Zoro said, smirking widely. Where were we? Ah, right. And now to King's Haki, the most powerful version. Unlike the previous two versions, King's Haki cannot be awakened by everyone. Only one in a few million possesses King's Haki. With King's Haki, you can overpower the wills of others. Or easier explained, you can knock out the weaker-willed with energy waves you emit. I for one possess King's Haki. Luffy further explained, ending his lecture. Wow, didn't know Haki was that powerful. Usopp spoke, admitting his lack of knowledge. The usage of Haki in the Grand Line, especially in the New World, is extremely helpful, so you better awaken it as soon as possible. The others nodded. There's more I need to tell you. Besides Haki, there is another extremely strong and helpful power. I'm talking about Rokushiki. Rokushiki? Nami asked, just like Usopp with Haki, frowning. It's a martial arts style used by Marines and government agents. Rokushiki consists of 6 superhuman techniques, and if you master all of them, you have access to an additional technique which is far stronger than the others, the Rokuogen. First there's Shigen, finger pistol, a technique where you move your fingers so fast it's as deadly as a pistol. This is the most dangerous one of the normal Rokushiki, so I won't demonstrate it. Then there's Soru, shave, a technique where you can move almost as fast as teleportation. Let me demonstrate it. Soru, Luffy explained before disappearing. Where is he? Usopp asked, as confused as the others listening to Luffy. Right here, Usopp screamed as he turned around. Oh Luffy, don't scare me like that. Luffy didn't answer. Instead he continued explaining Rokushiki. After that there's Geppo, moonwalk, a technique where you can walk in the air, and if you're not a devil fruit user, you can use it in the water as well. Look at this, Geppo, he continued, before jumping through the air like there were stairs. Impressive, Zoro, Sanji, Nami and Usopp exclaimed. Sanji, you use your legs very often, so I would recommend this technique to you, Luffy said, Sanji nodding. Following that there's Rankyaku, Tempest Kick, a technique where you kick so fast it creates a sharp air blade capable of cutting walls. Once again, I would recommend it to you, Sanji. Furthermore there's Tekkai, Iron Body, a technique where you harden your muscles to the level of iron. It's similar to armament haki, but unlike armament haki this technique requires great physical strength and is inferior to armament haki. Zoro and Sanji, while you learn to awaken your armament haki, you can also learn this technique. The last normal Rokushiki technique is Kami-e, paper art, where you make your body go limp in order to avoid any attacks. This requires high physical speed, but nonetheless, I think you could use this pretty well, Nami and Usopp. And finally, in the end, there's the Rokuogen, 6 King Gun. You need to master all other Rokushiki techniques for being able to use this one. You place your fists right in front of your opponent and release a massive shockwave which makes the opponent suffer internal injuries. However, be warned. Even if you were able to use this, you should only use it in the most desperate situations, since this technique takes away lots of your energy. That's all I need to say. After that long explanation of Luffy, his nakama were full of new information and realized how much they have to train. From now on you'll train every day. Sanji versus Zoro and Nami versus Usopp. This is only Haki-related training, you'll have to come to me if you want to learn Rokushiki techniques. The black-haired boy full of knowledge declared. Something didn't seem right to the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates. How did their captain know all this when he's not even a marine or government agent? Sanji was the first to question this. Luffy, thanks for all this information, that was really educational, but how and since when do you know this? That question hit Luffy like an airplane. The blonde with a cigarette in his mouth had a good point. Damn it, it's way too early to tell, he thought. It's a secret, the 17-year-old said, desperately smiling and sweating. His nakama looked at him, aware of their captain hiding something. A crew shouldn't have secrets, we trust you and you trust us, why are you hiding something? Zoro asked, piercing Luffy with his question. Look, it's a very big secret that's uneasy to explain. Once I gather all of my nakama together, I'll tell you everything, I promise. For now the only thing you need to do is getting stronger, not for me but for yourselves, got it? There was silence. Luffy's nakama rethought about their trust towards their captain. He was hiding something that was 100% evident. The unpleasant silence on Mary was interrupted by Nami, who saw an island not very far from their point. "I see Loguetown, we're almost there," she reported. "Good. You can do whatever you want in Loguetown, but there are some things to get for us. Nami, go and buy 11 den mushis, 1 for the ship and 10 for each one of us. If you ask why 10, if we lose one, we can replace it with another one. And buy me a red captain's coat with golden epaulets, please. Sanji, all you need to do is getting us some food. Fish and meat should be the dominant part of your acquisition. That's all." With that, the Straw Hats split for now. Roronoa Zoro was running through the streets of Loguetown. Where the FCK is a sword store, he asked himself, tired of aimlessly running. Almost like fate wanted it, he bumped into a blue-haired woman. "Ouch," they both yelled. "Look at where you're going," the woman exclaimed. She turned around, her glasses shattered. "What the hell? She looks just like Kuina." Zoro snapped, remembering his old girlfriend. Sorry, what's your name?" "Tashigi," she answered. "What is going on? She's also named after a bird. Do you want me to help you? Where's the next place selling glasses?" the pirate politely asked, not knowing how to handle his thoughts and the overall situation. "The end of this street, on the right," she explained. "One more thing, I can't see anything without my glasses. Could you hold my hand until we're there?" The green-haired blushed at this. "Oh, okay, I'll do this if you want." Random people of Loguetown observed the entire strange and confusing incident, much to Zoro's unhappiness. After 1 minute of walking through the streets of Loguetown filled with gazes of curious citizens, the 2 swordsmen arrived at their destination. "You owe me 1,000, Tashigi spoke. "Alright, there you have it," Zoro muttered, handing over the money. "Thanks," the Marine said, walking into the store. The green-haired sighed in relief. "Finally, it's over. Why does she have to look like her? I can't stand it." He turned his head to the right, realizing there's a sword shop. "Ippon Matsu's arms shop, let's go in there," he quietly murmured, opening the door. "Hello there, customer, what can I do for you?" the owner asked in a loud, inviting tone. His hairstyle resembled the one of a clown and his nose was reddish. "I'm looking for 2 new swords," the pirate stated. He handed his 2 weaker swords to Ippon Matsu, who inspected them. "Those 2 are of bad quality. I see why you want new ones," the man remarked, looking directly into the eyes of Zoro. "May I see your 3rd sword?" Zoro hesitated a little. "You can see it, but I don't intend to replace this." The arms dealer's eyes widened when he saw the green-haired's best sword after he handed Wado Ichimonji over. That's Wado Ichimonji, one of 21 grade swords. Its owner doesn't seem aware of what treasure he owns. I have to get my hands on it. "Sir, I am interested in your 3rd sword. Can I have it for 100.000 berry?" the shopkeeper asked, trying to rip off his customer. "Nope, not selling it," was Zoro's answer. "What about 200.000? "Nope. 300.000? Nope. 500.000? Nope." "Okay, this is my last offer, 1.000.000 berry? Never?" "Arrrgh," the man cursed, seriously frustrated. 3 seconds later, Tashigi came in with some new glasses. She walked towards the counter and her eyes landed on Zoro's Wado Ichimonji. Holy cow, Wado Ichimonji. That's one of 21 grade swords, worth over 10 million berry. The shop owner made an annoyed face. "Did you have to tell? I was trying to buy it for less than it's worth," he groaned. "It doesn't matter if you would have offered me 100 million berry, I would never sell it anyway. It is something I've received from a good friend, and it's worth more to me than anything else," the pirate explained, impressing Tashigi and Ippon Matsu with his view on what's a treasure and what not. "Anyways, I only have 100,000 berry with me. Do you have some swords for 50,000 or less?" The red-nosed man frowned at this question. "I do have some cheap swords, but their quality is as poor as those 2 swords you've shown me not long ago. They're in that basket there," he said, pointing at a basket full of swords. Zoro walked towards said basket and pulled out Sandai Kitetsu. "This one doesn't seem of poor quality to me," he spoke, carefully looking at his future new sword. Ippon Matsu freaked out as he saw the swordsman look at that sword. "Don't buy that," he panically exclaimed. "It's a cursed sword." "A cursed sword?" the green-haired asked. "What do you mean?" The Sandai Kitetsu is one of 3 Kitetsu swords. This lineage of swords is said to be cursed. To date, each owner of a Kitetsu is said to be dead. Dead because he just owned a Kitetsu. This one, being the latest to be produced, is the weakest Kitetsu, but still overly deadly, the shop owner explained. "TCH, if it's really cursed, then I should test my luck," Zoro spoke, throwing the cursed sword in the air and stretching out his arm. "Don't," Tashigi and Ippon Matsu yelled, scared that his arm might fall off. Sandai Kitetsu made lots of turns in the air. When it was about to reach the green-haired, it barely missed, proving its future owners and tamers' luck. The whole shop was speechless for a short period of time, but then Ippon Matsu decided to break the silence. Congratulations. I've never seen a man lucky enough to escape a Kitetsu's curse. You are a worthy swordsman, so I'm giving it to you for free. Really, that's nice of you, Zoro said, smirking. He was happy that he didn't have to pay. And that's not all. The owner continued, while going into the shop's storeroom to get another sword. This is Yubashiri, one of 50 skillful grade swords and my family treasure. Take good care of it, I'm entrusting it to you for free. Zoro was fortunate and amazed to hear that. The previously fraudulent shopkeeper gave him 2 of his best swords for free. Toshigi was pretty surprised too. The previously clumsy moss-haired man she met was actually a skilled swordsman. Thank you for everything, Matsu-san. I will become the world's best swordsman with these swords, he declared, not wanting to disappoint the generous man. I'm happy to hear that, the middle-aged man said. After that, Zoro left the shop trying to go back to Mary, just to get lost due to his bad sense of orientation. 5 minutes earlier, Luffy walked towards Marine Captain Smoker, who he had spotted somewhere in the harbor. Smoker, one of the only Marines I like. He's actually pretty fun. Shame I had to kill him for helping Akainu and his dogs slaughter my nakama. The 17-year-old thought, respecting his friendly enemy. Excuse me, where is Roger's execution platform? The boy asked, getting the Marine's attention. Follow the smoke trail, he instructed, creating a long trail of smoke with his Moku Moku powers. Thanks, Smokey, Luffy called, following the smoke trail. It's Smoker, Captain Smoker, the captain angrily shouted at a running Luffy. 1 minute later, Smoker's subordinate Master Chief Petty Officer Toshigi came running towards him. Captain Smoker, look at this, she exclaimed, giving him Luffy's wanted poster. That's the most recent wanted poster, and an extraordinary one. Look at his bounty. Wanted. Dead or alive. Monkey D. Luffy, 80.000.000 berry. You know what, Toshigi? The Marine started, changing his cigars. I think I just let him pass by. Present timeline. Luffy glared at the execution platform built for Gold D. Roger, former Pirate King. It was huge, and an even bigger tourist attraction. This monument could be considered legendary. I want to be on that, Luffy said, stretching out his arms. Gomu Gomu no rocket. Seconds later, Luffy was lying on the execution platform, looking at least 1,000 people standing in the city center. His arrival on the platform didn't stay unnoticed. What are you doing there? Get down. An inhabitant of Loguetown shouted, but the pirate didn't care. Suddenly, dark clouds quickly engulfed the sky. Following that, it started to rain heavily. Father's here, Luffy thought, sensing Dragon's presence with his haki. Not only that, Buggy will soon come too. I should get out of here. His thoughts were interrupted by the clacking sound of Kairoseki shackles. Kabaji managed to catch him off guard. Shit. A slim lady with an iron mace started walking towards the city center. She hit some Marines with her mace who tried to run at the platform. You just hit a Marine, we'll have to arrest you, a Marine officer declared. You won't arrest me, right? The woman said, seducing the Marines with her looks. And no, of course not, hard-eyed soldiers let out. And you? She turned to Luffy. Do you know who I am? No, who are you? Luffy asked, knowing the answer. Think about it, you're the only man who hit me, the lady spoke. I've never seen you before, he lied. Then I'll tell you, I'm Alvida. What? You're that ugly fat whale Alvida? Impossible? I was never a whale, she yelled with sharp teeth. But I look different, right? That's because I ate the soup no am I. Now my skin is perfectly smooth, and I'm really beautiful, right Buggy? Buggy then appeared from the shadows along with his crew. That's right Alvida, you definitely are. The Buggy pirates encircled the city center. Everybody, hear me out, I'm taking all of you hostage. Don't try to escape, or else, Buggy threatened, maniacally laughing. From one of the buildings around the city center, Captain Smoker and Toshigi watched all of this. Smoker had a megaphone with him, but decided to speak out later. Sanji, Nami, Zoro and Usopp also came to the scene. What does our captain always get himself into? Sanji asked, annoyed by Luffy's GHT. We're too late, Usopp exclaimed, fearing for his friend and captain. At the same time, Buggy started to get on top of the execution platform. People of Loguetown, I'm announcing the flashy execution of Straw Hat Luffy. Now watch as I flashily execute this Straw Hat brat. Cool, I always wanted to see an execution, Luffy joked. You're the one getting executed, dumbass, the clown roared with sharp teeth. Oh no, that sucks. The boy muttered. Luffy, his nakama screamed, thinking their captain will die. Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji. Sorry, I'm dead. The Straw Hat shouted, smiling brightly in his, supposedly, last seconds. Right before Buggy cut Luffy's head off, the lightning with high voltage struck Buggy's body and the execution platform, making both fall down. Luffy's shackles were destroyed in the process. Thanks Dad, the teenager thought in gratitude. Immediately after Luffy was free again, he started to give orders to his nakama. Everyone, let's get back on the ship. We've nothing to do here anymore. Captain Smoker finally started talking into his megaphone. Marines, there are 3 dangerous pirates in the city center, don't let them escape. With that, dozens of Marines rushed into the city center, some clashing with the buggy pirates, some clashing with the Straw Hat pirates. Zoro and Sanji defeated most of them and continued running. Zoro, however, was stopped by a certain female Marine, Tashigi. "Why didn't you tell me you're a pirate?" she angrily demanded, swinging her sword at Zoro. "You didn't tell me you were a Marine either." Zoro spoke, blocking Tashigi's stroke. "I'll tell you something. I love swords and can't see them in the hands of criminals. I will rescue every high-valued sword from the pawns of dirty pirates. You have 3 of them, hand them over," she stated, continuing her attack. "I'm not gonna hand over anything, I'll become the best swordsman in the world," he explained, blocking even more attacks. "A pirate like you doesn't deserve to be the best swordsman in the world, I will be the best." Flashback. A 9-year-old Zoro approached his girlfriend and rival Kuina. She was sitting outside in the rain. He walked towards her with 2 real swords, opposite to the wooden sticks with which they would normally fight. "Hey Kuina." Zoro spoke, getting her attention. "We fought 2,000 times before and I've never beaten you. I've improved a lot since the first time I've lost to you. And now I'm challenging you to our 2001st and last duel, this time with real swords." Kuina stood up and took the sword her rival has given to her, prepared to lose one more time. And so they dueled, longer than ever before. This was the longest duel they've ever had, but in the end the victor was Kuina. Despite beating him, she refused to do any damage to her friend. Like every time before, Zoro said he'd become the world's greatest swordsman. "This may have been our last battle, but one day, when I grow up, I'll become the world's greatest swordsman, and I'll beat you." Flashback end, damn it. Why are those memories coming up now? He thought, remembering his not-so-happy past. He swung one more time at the Marine's sword and knocked it out of her hand, defeating her. Like Kuina, he decided to spare his opponent's life. But Tashigi didn't like this, not at all. "Why are you sparing me, huh? Because I'm a woman. Do you know how hard it is to be a female swordsman? I wish I was born a boy," she almost screamed. Her short, blue hair and her almost black eyes with that facial expression were almost identical to Kuina 10 years ago. Zoro flinched at that. Flashback. After another one of Zoro's, "I'll defeat you," speeches, Kuina reacted in another way than normally. "Of course you will be better in the future. My father told me that no woman could be the best swordsman in the world, because their fighting skills would decrease as they age. It's so unfair, I wish I was born a boy." The green-haired kid was shocked by his greatest rival's words. His greatest foe just admitted she'd be no match for him in the future. But Zoro thought different than her father. "Look, one day, one of us will become the world's greatest swordsman, not because of our gender, but through hard training. Promise me that, understand?" The skilled girl was touched by his wise, consoling words. Nobody she'd ever seen in her life judged her skills and potential by her skills alone. Except Roronoa Zoro. Everyone else judged her skills and potential by her gender. His offer was an offer she had to accept. "Why yes, I promise." The next day, she died by falling down the stairs. Flashback end. "Why are you looking and sounding like her? I can't look at your face. I can't stand it. And you're only doing it worse by saying the exact same things," she said. The 19-year-old cried, tears running down his face. He then ran away. "Wait, kill me, don't disrespect me. It's hurting my pride," she also cried, through the rain. Her defeat and her enemy's words were like bullets through her heart. Meanwhile, Smoker chased Luffy through the streets of Loguetown. "Straw Hat, I'm gonna get you." "Too slow, Smokey," Luffy mocked him, laughing. "I'll show you who's slow, white out," he shouted, shooting smoke clouds at the black-haired. Due to his speed advantage, Luffy easily evaded the clouds. "You've got to be faster than that," the Straw Hat called. "White blow," Smoker exclaimed, turning one of his arms except his fist into smoke, trying to hit Luffy in a long-range attack. "This was that attack that always got me. Man, I remember all the trouble I had, before learning how to use Haki of course," Luffy thought, activating Armament Haki. "Armament. Gomu Gomu no Gatling," Luffy shouted, turning around and hitting his new rival rapidly with Haki-covered fists. Smoker had no chance, since he was a Logia user. "Haki in the East Blue? I've heard of it before, but never used it on my own, since I've never learned it. One thing is clear. You're a dangerous pirate with a great threat potential and I'll hunt you, even if it means going all the way to Raftel," he declared, before passing out. "Great, I've just made myself an enemy for life," he thought, before leaving for his ship. Out of nowhere, a mysterious man covered in a green cloak came, walking out of the shadows. The future Pirate King recognized him in the first second, his father Monkey D. Dragon, leader of the Revolutionary Army. His most recognizable trait was the red tattoo-like mark in his face. "Well, hello there, father," Luffy spoke in a low and calm tone. You've heard of me? Dragon asked, coming closer with every step. Gramps never told me about you, but it's as clear as fresh water that you're my father, since your surname is Monkey, just like mine. I knew father never told you about me. He wouldn't want you to be recognized as the son of the most wanted criminal on Earth. I can think that far, that's why he hid Ace's real identity. Ace? Luffy's father asked, not knowing who Ace is. My adoptive brother, just like Sabo. They're both Gramps' adoptive grandsons, that makes you their adoptive father, the Straw Hat explained. Ace and Sabo as in, Fire Fist, Ace and, Black Rod, Sabo? The revolutionary asked, followed by a nod of Luffy. I see you have family, Luffy, but I have 2 questions regarding your family, Dragon said, readying his questions. Go on, ask them. I'm willing to answer your questions, the 17-year-old told him. First, do you consider me your father, and second, what do you think of me? You're my biological father, so yes, I consider you my father and part of my family. I'm not like Ace or Sabo, who would kill their real fathers. I don't hate you. Luffy explained, much to Dragon's relief. A-, but the son cut his father off. I don't love you either. You've done nothing to make me hate you, but you haven't done nothing to make me love you either. I can easily love you, but you have to do some things to make me love you first. Luffy, Dragon began, I'm sorry I haven't a child, but please understand that it's hard to lead the Revolutionary Army. I'm doing it for the good of the world. It's fine. Luffy spoke. I understand you. I also hate the government. I'm also sure you would approach me sometime in the future when I'm a little older, so I'm forgiving you your absence in my childhood. The revolutionary was touched by his son. Oh, what a great son I have, he exclaimed, hugging his offspring. When time has come, I'll introduce you to your mother. I can't wait for that, Luffy said. That was a nice reunion. We'll see each other in the future, right? Right. Bye for now, I have to hurry. We'll have to reach the Grand Line as fast as possible, Luffy called, running and waving his hands at his father. Goodbye, Luffy. Remember that I'll always be there for you when trouble comes. With that, the 2 black-haired parted their ways. On the Merry, Luffy's nakama were waiting for him. Where have you been, Luffy? Nami asked, hugging him. We were worried. I've only met someone I respect, he answered, not going into details. Anyways, we've acquired what you wanted, she said, showing him 11 den mushies, and here's your captain's coat. The Straw Hat had stars in his eyes after seeing his new coat. It was many red, with golden epaulets and buttons. The outer line of the coat was also in gold. On the back, there was the Jolly Roger of the Straw Hat Pirates. Thank you, you're the best crew a captain could ever have. Hey Captain Luffy, I've cooked some delicious meat with fish sauce while we were alone. Do you want to try it? Sanji asked, making Luffy drool. Meat, Luffy exclaimed, running into the kitchen. Don't eat everything, the cook yelled after him. Everyone else laughed. The next day, they finally reached Reverse Mountain. Nami, are you sure we have to go up that mountain? Zoro asked. Why don't we just sail down to the Grand Line? Bonk. Asterisk, we can't sail down, idiot. If we sail down we'll land in the calm belt where sea kings will eat us, the ginger yelled with sharp teeth, giving the Marimo a bump on his head. Sea kings? Eat us? I don't want to go to the Grand Line, Usopp screamed, running around. Luffy gave Usopp a bump. There are no sea kings in the Grand Line, and besides, we can't turn back now, Reverse Mountain is right in front of us. And Luffy was right. Reverse Mountain was really right in front of them. They were sailing towards the stream leading up the mountain now. So Luffy asked his nakama one more time why they were going to the Grand Line. To become the world's greatest swordsman, to draw a map of the world. To become a brave warrior of the sea, to find the All Blue. To become Pirate King. The Straw Hats were riding on the rapidly upwards flowing stream now. The Grand Line was only a minute away. Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, Jinbei. Wait for us, we're coming. Chapter 9, Laboon. The Straw Hats reached the top of Reverse Mountain after a breathtaking ride. Now that they've reached the top, the ride down would be even faster and more thrilling. And it was true. Their faces began fluttering and wobbling back like the one of a pilot starting in a hypersonic jet. UAAAAAH. My nose is fluttering back, Usopp screamed, disadvantaged by his overly long nose. Quit whining, a fly just flew in my mouth, Sanji moaned at him, coughing out both the fly and his cigarette. Guys, I don't want to interrupt you, but look at that. Nami fearfully spoke, pointing at a humongous whale with gruesome scars in front of them. The sea mammal blocked the exit of the stream. Laboon, good to see you, old pal. If I could speak your language, I'd tell you Brook is alive. Luffy thought, remembering Brook's story about him, the whale. Ah, we're gonna collide and die, Nami and Usopp screamed, holding each other, crying. Luffy, should I cut him away? Zoro asked, literally meaning it. No, idiot, I'd never forgive you if you killed him, the teenager angrily yelled with sharp teeth, giving his swordsman a second bump. Then what should we do? Nami-san said we'll die if the whale and us collide, Sanji asked. I'm gonna hold him off, trust me. Nothing's going to happen to us or Mary. Their captain stated with a reassuring voice, sounding like a man of his word. As the ship approached the whale, the risk of dying became greater. Luffy, do something, the cowardly duo yelled, still holding each other and crying. Yosh, Gomu Gomu no Fuzen. The rubber man inflated himself to the point where he's bigger than Mary. His immense flexibility made it possible for his nakama to survive. Luffy, 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 they cheered, dancing to express their relief for living on. Wait a minute. When I punched him in the eye last time, he swallowed our ship and made it possible for us to meet Crocus and Vivi. If I don't punch him now, we won't meet them again. Guess I have to act stupid again. The Straw Hat thought, thinking about the consequences if he played it smart and cool. The 17-year-old subsequently punched the dark blue whale in the eye, just to be punched by his navigator. You brainless moron. We just escaped death and now you're trying to kill us again. His other nakama just facepalmed at their captain's stupid action. Laboon reacted quick. His round, pacifistic eyes turned into angry, half-round eyes. He opened his mouth, which could easily swallow a warship. A single tooth was so big Usopp had to maneuver the ship so that they don't crash in it and burst. Geppo! Luffy shouted, running away in the air. He watched as a massive wave flushed his ship along with his nakama inside Laboon's mouth. I'll find another way to get inside, but I'll get you out of there, I swear, the adventurous boy thought. Inside Laboon, the rest of the Straw Hat pirates were floating through the whale's endless seeming throat. One was calm, one was scared, two were mad. I can't believe he ditched us like that, the ginger furiously exclaimed, clenching her fists. Luffy's going to come and save us, alright? The black-haired asked, scared of the fact he might get digested. Don't worry, he's our captain, he'd never leave us alone like that, the green-haired said, knowing Luffy's loyalty and care towards his nakama. Even if he's going to save us, when I see him again, I'll turn him into fricassee, the blonde angrily declared, lighting himself another one. A short trip later, the four pirates found themselves in a strange place. The sky was blue and had clouds. There was seawater and even a small island with an old man living on it, but everything seemed so contained. Oi, old man, where the heck are we? Zoro rudely demanded as Mary came closer to that island. The old man with petals around his head lifted his gaze from the newspaper he was reading and stared intimidatingly at the Straw Hats, who really became intimidated. What's the problem, can I help you? He asked, this time not intimidating at all. Confusion befell the Straw Hats. What is with this old geezer, they all thought. Where are we? Do you know that? Zoro slowly and politely asked. You're inside Laboon. Laboon? The Straw Hats were confused again. This man had a strange way of speaking. The whale occupying the entrance of the Grand Line. But why is his inside painted, and what's an island doing here? Nami questioned. And who are you? Zoro let out. Once more, the old man started staring intimidatingly at the Straw Hats, who once more became intimidated. If you want someone to tell his name, why don't you introduce yourselves first? He unintimidatingly asked. The pirates slowly became annoyed with him, yet maintained their patience. I'm Zoro. I'm Sanji. I'm Nami, and I'm Usopp. Good, he spoke. My name is Crocus, my birthday is on January 4th, my blood type is AB. Can I shut him up? Zoro yelled at his nakama with sharp teeth, touching his sword's hilts. 3 minutes earlier, Luffy landed on Laboon's back after using Geppo. He noticed a hatch on the whale's back. What does a hatch do on a whale's back? Never mind, I'll get down there. The pirate opened the hatch and went down there, ending up in an artificial hallway made out of metal. I was in here once, but this is still strange. Metal in a whale, would that make Laboon a cyborg like Frankie? I don't know, but let's explore. Present timeline. Outside, Laboon decided to ram the red line again. He changed his posture, which felt like an earthquake for the people inside. Luffy, for example, lost his balance and was falling down, flying. Eventually, he would bump into two people inside the sea mammal. A very young blue-haired woman and a crown-wearing man, dragging them down with him. Meanwhile, the remaining Straw Hats wondered what this earthquake was. Mr. Crocus, what is happening? Nami demanded, almost as scared as when they rode down the stream on Reverse Mountain. Crocus put his glasses in their place. It's Laboon, he's ramming his head against the red line again. I've told him many times to stop that, but he doesn't listen. It's such a sad story. Suddenly, 3 voices ringed in Crocus and the Straw Hats' ears. 2 were screaming, 1 was laughing. After 10 more seconds, the people screaming and laughing could be identified as they were coming closer, falling down from a hole in the sky. The blue-haired girl fell on Sanji, the crown-wearing man on Zoro, and Luffy on Nami. That was fun, the childish pirate exclaimed, grinning and holding his hands in the air. The orange-haired girl pushed the Straw Hat off her and punched him in the head as she stood up. Couldn't you fallen somewhere else, idiot? Ow, sorry Nami. Crocus decided to climb on Mary for some reason. Zoro objected this. Who allowed you to get on Mary? He spat as he threw off the man who fell on him shortly before, as well as you too. Sorry for not asking, but I can't stay here for long. Laboon is going to blow us out soon, the elderly man explained. He's gonna what? Out of nowhere. The huge whale blew Mary and everyone on it out of his blowhole. The ship landed on the water, but Luffy was gone, again. Where's this fool now? Nami asked, annoyed of her captain. She turned her head around and saw him standing on the red line, which Laboon opted to hit. But then she noticed that not the red line was his target, but Luffy. The whale had forgotten her captain's punch to his eye. Luffy, the navigator screamed, not wanting her nakama to get crushed by a creature weighing way more than 1,000 elephants. The 17-year-old knew when to stop the whale. It's a draw, he announced, making Laboon stop. It's a draw for now. When I return, we'll have a rematch. Until then, please don't hit your head on the red line anymore, okay? Laboon thought this was a friendly promise, so he decided not to attack Luffy any further. Luffy at the same time went back to Geezer. What's with the whale? He asked, already knowing his backstory. It's Crocus, and since you've stopped Laboon from hurting himself any further, I'll tell you the whole story. 50 years ago, a pirate crew which befriended Laboon as a baby came over the Grand Line. I was keeper of the Twin Capes lighthouse over there. He explained, pointing at a light gray lighthouse. But since Laboon was a baby and the Grand Line was too dangerous, they asked me to take care of him. For 50 years Laboon has waited for his friends, who are probably dead by now. I've told him many times that they won't come back, but he refused to listen to me, and rammed the red line with his head since then, which explains his scars. And now these two, he roared, pointing at Crown Guy and Vivi in disguise, have come to kill Laboon for his meat. If I was you, I'd tie them up and hand them over to the Marines. First, we can't hand them over to the Marines. We're pirates and therefore criminals. They'd arrest us immediately. Second, sad story. I'll make Laboon stop hitting his head once and for all. Luffy said, reassuring Crocus. You would? If you did that, I'd be happy for the rest of my life. Now that I'm old and don't have that much to live, Laboon means everything to me. Don't worry, I'll make him stop right now. The boy promised the old man. Usopp, get me some paint. Paint? For what? You'll see, Luffy told, smiling widely. Okay Luffy, I'm on it, Usopp said, running below deck. About 30 seconds later, Usopp returned with some white, black, red, and straw-colored paint. Luffy took the paint and made his way to Laboon's head. 5 minutes later, he drew a perfect copy of the Straw Hat Pirate's Jolly Roger, contrary to last time where he drew a bad copy. This is the sign of our promise. It will vanish if you hit your head again, he told Laboon, who eventually would never hurt himself, especially his head, again. Crocus and Luffy's nakama were impressed by his action. Thank you very much, I owe you much, Crocus spoke out of his heart. I'm giving you this log pose to thank you. No, we have to thank you. You made our journey a lot easier with that log pose, the pirate captain said. Boy, you remind me of Gold Roger. I know that because I was on his ship. Oh, is that so? Yes, I was on the Oro Jackson for 3 years as his doctor. I can tell that you resemble him quite well, even from your captain's coat. Well, thanks. I also want to become Pirate King, Luffy stated, smiling proudly. Then I should not get in your way in traveling the Grand Line. Have fun and make your dreams come true, Crocus declared, bidding farewell. Luffy returned to his nakama, setting sail. Thank you old man, until next time, the black-haired shouted, waving his hands. Laboon let out a scream of joy, expressing his way of celebrating the newfound friendship between him and the future Pirate King. Goodbye Laboon. I'll tell Brook about you. He'll be happy to hear about you. Shortly after their leaving, Luffy sees Vivi and Crown Guy tied up on Mary. Sanji was trying to flirt with Vivi, who tried to dismiss the pervert in return. Why are those two here? The Straw Hat asked, faking a bad mood. A certain green-haired walked over to Luffy and the two Baroque agents. We've taken them hostage, but if you want, we can just drop them into the sea. You can throw out Crown Guy, but not this sweet princess, Sanji objected, defending the female hostage. Quit it Arrow Cook, you just want to screw her, am I right or am I right? The swordsman mocked the cook. What did you just say, Marimo? Sanji snapped at Zoro, seriously annoyed by the latter's statement. The two fighters of the Straw Hats started arguing, but Nami stopped them by an announcement. Guys, we're heading to Whiskey Peak, that's what the log pose says. You know how to read them? Usopp curiously asked, surprised she can work with objects from the Grand Line. I'm a navigator Usopp. I knew about log poses since I was a child. Those things are essential for the Grand Line, since a normal compass doesn't work here. Excuse me, but you said Whiskey Peak not long ago, right? The blue-haired girl spoke. Could you take us there with you? Hold on a second, Zoro objected. We don't even know your names, yet you want us to take you with us? Well, excuse me sir, but you haven't given us the chance to introduce ourselves. She commented like a spoiled brat. My name is Miss Wednesday, and that is Mr. Nine. These aren't even real names, the swordsman snarled. Right, these are our code names. Mr. Nine informed him. We work for an organization called Baroque Works, and if you hurt us, you'll be in great trouble. Our boss doesn't let anyone get away with hurting his subordinates. Baroque Works? What is that? Nami asked, getting aware of the tied-up duo hiding something. Baroque Works is an organization that wants to create an ideal state. An ideal state, where everything is perfect, Crown Guy said. I was offered a job there since I was considered the best swordsman of the East Blue, but I told them I'd only work for them if I was the leader, which they refused. Zoro told. Whatever the case, we cannot have you here, you might cause trouble, so. Zoro, Luffy interrupted his first mate with a convincing voice. How about this? We untie them and take them with us, but if they cause trouble, try to kill us or try to escape, we'll overpower and end them, okay? Sounds good, Captain. He spoke, turning his head back to the agents. If you try something wrong, I'll make you regret. After that, everyone turned back to their duties except Sanji, who was unsuccessfully flirting with Miss Wednesday aka Vivi Nefeltari. Whiskey Peak wasn't far anymore. Chapter 10. Meet Vivi, Princess of Alabasta. After some time, the Straw Hats and their companions arrived at Whiskey Peak, located on Cactus Island. The citizens of Whiskey Peak looked happy and peaceful, trying to deceive the visitors with their looks, as they were all bounty hunters. Pirates are here, some kids cheerfully yelled, running around. Ma, welcome to Whiskey Peak, pirates, I'm Mayor Igarapoy, always at your service. A tall man with blonde hair looking like a wig, later revealed to be Igaram, said. Yeah right Igaram, you can't fool me, Luffy thought. Why are you so nice to pirates? Nami skeptically asked. We could rob you, or murder the entire village. The mayor shed a tear and wiped it off with a blue towel. We are nice to pirates because they are our best customers, they fill the city with money when they come. More like Crocodile's pocket. The Straw Hat murmured in his head, shaking his head a little. How about we throw a party for you? He asked. I think you'd like that. Yes, we would. Luffy exclaimed, acting like a child in front of his nakama. Come on guys, let's party. Nami and Zoro shrugged. They saw through the lie, but decided to go on not stopping their captain, although him tending to act childish at times. Despite the later actions, the Straw Hats had fun partying. Sanji and Usopp flirted with Whiskey Peak's most beautiful women, Usopp rather telling stories, Sanji actually flirting. Zoro and Nami drank a lot. Nami only to win money in a drinking contest, and Luffy ate lots of meat, but less than before. He knew there were sleep drugs inside. Only the swordsman, the navigator and the captain of the crew faked their sleep. The cook and the sniper weren't informed about the trap. The swordsman was the first to wake up. Zoro's Pavi woke up at night, around 12 I think. Oh man, the party room was a mess, empty glasses, flipped chairs, and nobody else in there but me and my mates. The alcohol was still flowing through my body, yet I was able to put together what happened. Bounty hunters tricked us, trying to make us fall asleep, then steal our money and hand us over to the damn Marines. Doesn't work with me, amateurs, I've been a bounty hunter for years, you can't trick me with that. I thought and grinned a little. My stupid captain and the other stupid blockheads would get caught, especially Sanji, that dumb good-for-nothing arrow cook. These hearts in his eyes and his lady-loving attitude were annoying me from the beginning. Whatever, I'll wake him up later, I'll check if the ship is still intact and there. I went to Mary and looked everything was at its place, and we were lucky, not even Nami's treasure is gone. Nami you gold-digging orange-haired bitch, everything you care about is money. How about you show some compassion to someone else in your crew other than Luffy, just because he kicked Arlong's ass. Now that the ship was fine, I had to look after my nakama. They were defenseless in their sleep, and therefore an easy target. If I guarded the building where the party happened, nothing would happen to them. I thought, trying to see the circumstances a little more positive. I got on top of the building next to the building where my crew was sleeping, and I wasn't wrong. The case was just as I expected. Bounty hunters sneak up on us when we're asleep, then tie us up and get our bounties as result. Not with me, my friends, not with me. Oi bounty hunters, I yelled out, gaining the attention from all bounty hunters, maybe 100 or more. You have to go through me first, before you touch my nakama. The bounty hunters weren't impressed. You're alone and don't even have a bounty. Better give up now, they shouted, asking me to whoop their weak asses. Try me, Baroque works. I wrapped my black bandana around my head, meaning I'm going all out. After that I only pulled 2 swords out of their sheath, Yubashiri and Sandai Kitetsu. I had to see what they're made of, without the help of Wado Ichimonji, and I remembered the words of my captain. From now on, to awaken your observation haki you must fight with 1 or 2 swords, understand? I'm sure fighting with less swords helps you concentrate more against your opponents. I had to yet experience myself what observation haki is, so I obeyed Luffy's command. Following that I closed my eyes, also just like Luffy said. And when you fight against weaker opponents, try to do this with your eyes closed, okay? Shots came out of countless pistols and rifles, a dozen or more men with swords came at me. Inside my head, everything went in slow motion. Observation haki or whatever it is, I want you to awaken inside of me, Hell, I don't know if it works like that, but I want to defeat them all. Show me where the enemies are, so I can beat them without opening my eyes. Suddenly, I sensed the aura of the enemies, including their weapons, like swords or bullets. I don't know how this happened, but I took my chance to defeat them all. Nitoryu, Nami. I spinned around with my swords, creating a gust of wind. This knocked out everyone in close range, or half of them, at least that's what was projected in my mind. To check if that's true, I opened my eyes. They were really knocked out, but the auras of the ones still standing vanished. What the hell? I closed my eyes once more and concentrated a little, seeing their auras again. My conclusion is that I can only use this observation haki thing when my eyes are closed. Strange, right? Pistol shots were fired again. I cut them in half with my swords and charged at the one shooting. To my surprise, Yubashiri and Sandai Kitetsu reacted differently while cutting my enemies. Yubashiri only cut the enemies, while Sandai Kitetsu literally tried to kill them. This sword had a powerful, murderous aura that had to be brought under control. No wonder it's cursed. After slashing the weak bounty hunters, I noted 4 auras, slightly more powerful than the ones of the weaklings I've devastated shortly before. I opened my eyes to see who they were, losing sight of their auras. It was the mayor, the blue-haired girl, crown guy and a big black pink-haired muscular woman, who had dressed as a nun while partying with us. The 2 big-sized bounty hunters introduced themselves as Mr. 8 and Miss Monday. You found out the truth and killed members of Baroque works. You must die, Miss Monday declared, grabbing a barrel to throw it at me. I easily cut the barrel in 4, rendering it useless. She then grabbed a ladder and swung it at me, only for me to dodge. Unfortunately, while I was dodging, she put a metal sheath onto her massive knuckles and punched me. The pain I experienced from this punch almost made me scream out. Even from the feeling, I realized I had bruises in my face. Despite the pain, I grabbed her ugly face with an iron grip, pressing my fists deeper and deeper into her skull. Not only did she scream because she was in pain, but also because she was overpowered by me. Unbelievable. This went so far she actually fell unconscious after a single grab. Appearances can be deceiving, and that should be the ultimate proof. Who's next? I confidently asked, wielding Sandai Kitetsu towards the remaining 3 Baroque agents. I knew I'd defeat them. There's no way I'd lose to those lowly weaklings that would just dishonor Captain Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates. Mr. 9, the biggest fool out of all of them, decided to attack me. Neketsu 9 Kanjo Bat. He yelled, trying to hit me with his 2 steel bats combined with his acrobatics. I easily blocked his bats. It's like he doesn't even try. He tried the same attack again, at least that's what I thought. Katobase Shikomi Bat. The annoying idiot shouted, suddenly launching 2 steel ropes out of his bats, binding my right arm with Sandai Kitetsu. What are you going to do now, huh? That idiot annoyed me. He annoyed me more than Helmeppo, that octopus fish man, and even Johnny and Yosaku sometimes. I had to use an Itoryu attack, although I wasn't that go sword, since I started out with 2 swords. I tried my luck and attacked. Itoryu Ei, Shishi Sun. I placed Yubashiri horizontally in front of me, then rapidly unsheated it and slashed him in an even greater speed, then res-heating it again. He collapsed in seconds, which was such a satisfying moment for me. Mr. 9. This blue-haired girl hysterically screamed. Why is she even caring for him? Nobody is hurting my partner, Mr. 8. Help me bringing down this mosshead. Yes, Miss Wednesday, I'll help you, the mayor said, getting out a saxophone. What does this guy want with a freaking saxophone? I wondered, soon to be taken by surprise. Igarappa, Mr. 8 played his saxophone, and bullets came out. What the fucking hell? I exclaimed, trying to evade the bullets. Suddenly, Miss Wednesday cowardly attacked me with her peacock slashers while I was distracted. Kujaki slasher. I managed to dodge both the peacock slashers and the saxophone bullets. Seeing how I was a better fighter, they decided to attack even harder, as well as calling help, which was that girl's case. She called an odd bird named Karu to ride on him. Igarapapa, saxophone guy revealed machine guns hidden in the curls of his hair and started shooting again, this time with more and faster bullets. And as if that wasn't enough, that girl on top of this running bird attacked me with longer and sharper peacock slashers. Kujaki string slasher. I closed my eyes to use my newly awakened observation haki to help me dodge the enemy attacks. I actually dodged and repelled the bullets, but a small part of the peacock slasher sliced up a piece of my arm. Blood poured out of the wound and it hurt a bit, but my determination to win only increased. That was it. I unsheated Wado Ichimonji for a Santoryu attack. My patience wore thin already, but it disappeared completely a second ago. Santoryu, Toro Nagashi. I spinned around to slash both Mr. 8 and Miss Wednesday, but Mr. 8 jumped in front of her like he was her bodyguard. He received 3 big slashes on his torso, ripping up his suit. Run, princess, I can't fight him, he powerlessly moaned. This caught my attention. A princess? Her? That can't be, he must be joking. As much as I didn't want to believe that, I questioned the bounty hunter mayor about what he said. What are you talking about, princess? Her? What is this? Answer me. The man sighed in pain. The supposed princess leaned over her savior. Igaram, don't die. Don't worry, Princess Vivi, I won't die. He reassured her, coughing, before turning to me. I'm going to tell you the whole story, cough. Princess Vivi of Alabasta and I, captain of the Alabasta Royal Guard, infiltrated Baroque works to find out their true goal. After a lot of spying, we found out they want to take over the kingdom of Alabasta to create an ideal state. So you are admitting it, a calm voice from behind snarled. I turned around to see two people coming towards us, one of them being a dark-skinned man with black, short dreadlock wearing a brown trench coat and sunglasses, the other one being a young woman with short blonde hair, her overall clothing and accessoires looking like lemons. Kya ha 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 ha, traitors get punished, the woman laughed. I closed my eyes to judge them by the power their auras display. Comes out they're significantly stronger than those two I've beaten right now. Who are you? I asked, trying to sound threatening. The man stepped further forward. I am Mr. 5 and this is my partner Miss Valentine. We've been ordered by our boss, Mr. 0, to find and kill the infiltrators, who turn out to be Miss Wednesday aka Princess Vivi Nefiltari of Alabasta, and Mr. 8 aka Igaram, her bodyguard. If you don't want trouble, back off now, he answered, attempting to threaten me, hopelessly however, since I'd never run from a battle. Igaram then pulled my pants with his hand, telling me to turn to him. I did so to hear what he had to say to me. Please cough, help the princess, I'm begging you. I was speechless. What was he thinking? Not long ago they tried to kill me, and now he wants me to help this princess? Outrageous? First you try to kill me and then you want me to help her? I yelled at him with sharp teeth. But, he began, almost crying, before I cut him off. I calmed down a little. As much as I loathe you and the princess, it's the choice of the captain. He decides if we save you or not. Thanks Zoro, thank you for not acting first. That was Luffy's voice. I turned to the direction where the sound came from and stared at what I saw in disbelief. Luffy and Nami were sitting on a bench, awake and alive. I couldn't help but shout. Whaaaaaaa. Nobody's pav. Luffy laughed at his swordsman. Ha ha ha, you're funny Zoro. Did you think you're the only one who didn't fall for the trap? I've been watching you from the beginning, along with Nami. Congratulations for awakening your observation Haki. You did it sooner than I expected, now you only need to learn how to control it. Zoro wanted to yell at his captain for taking him for a fool and thank him for appreciating his newfound skill at the same time. But Nami walked up to him and screamed before he could open his mouth. Zoro, if my treasure is not on the ship, I'll use you as a punching bag. The green-haired flinched and stepped back 2 times. He knew she wasn't joking when it comes to money. Don't worry, your treasure is still there, there's no need to get angry. The ginger sighed. She turned to Princess Vivi. How about a deal? For 1 billion berry, we'll protect you and get you back to your kingdom. How does this sound? 1 billion berry, are you crazy? The blue-haired princess yelled with sharp teeth. We'll do it for free. This came out of Luffy's mouth. Nami turned her head to him like a robot, slowly and without an expression. She slowly walked over to him and punched him with superhuman speed, giving him a bump as big as his head. You stupid idiot, either she'll pay me 1 billion or you will. The pirate captain lifted his head. Forget it Nami, I won't pay you anything, he shouted, starting an argument with his navigator. Mr. 5 grew annoyed on the Straw Hats and interrupted their argument. Listen, if you decide to protect the princess, you become an enemy of Baroque works, and our boss is known for being merciless to his enemies. Think about it before you risk your life. While Nami got scared at first, Luffy looked confident. His answer was clear. I made up my mind, and nothing can stop me. If your boss comes to hunt us down, I'll kick his ass. Vivi and Igaram stared at the 17-year-old in disbelief. He, assumed by them, didn't know the leader of Baroque works yet dared to fight him. Mr. 5's and Miss Valentine's faces gained a serious look. Good, then we'll have to eliminate you too. Luffy crackled his fists. I have a bounty of 80 million berry, if you think you can eliminate us, then you're making a big mistake, he declared, making Miss Valentine twitch a bit. Mr. 5, what should we do? An insecure female Baroque agent asked her partner, who responded with, easy, I'll blow them up. The black Baroque agent picked his nose and pulled out a booger, much to the disgust of the spectators. He then flicked it at the 80 million berry man. Nose fancy cannon. Luffy countered with stretching his armament Haki-covered arm out towards the booger. The piece of dried nasal mucus exploded upon impact, leading to the confusion of the swordsman and the navigator. I ate the bomu no mi. I'm a bomb man. I can explode all of my body parts, he stated. That's right, and I ate the kilo no mi. I can change my weight from 1 kilo to 10,000 kilo, she added. Sounds pretty lame to me, the teenager said, pissing off the Baroque agents. Mr. 5 frowned, staying calm. Watch your mouth, you wouldn't like getting blown to pieces, would you? Kya ha ha ha, as well as getting stomped into the ground. Luffy put his hat off and walked forward a few steps. "Try your best, I dare you." The young pirate managed to imper courage, especially Vivi and Igaram. Mr. Five and his partner didn't hesitate. "Nose fancy double cannon," he shouted, flicking 2 explosive boogers at the same time. Meanwhile, Miss Valentine attacked with 10,000 kilo presses, where she levitated into the air by making herself weight only 1 kilo, then rapidly increasing her weight to 10 tons. The Straw Hat just stood there, scaring the crap out of Nami and the Alabastans. He waited for the right moment, where he would activate his defense armament. Miss Valentine landed on his hockey-covered head, breaking her high heels, then complaining about it. Mr. Five's booger bombs hit Luffy's chest, yet made 0 damage. He heard the agent curse. Not knowing what hockey is, the princess and her bodyguard got scared and impressed by the boy's strength and black skin, especially his black skin. Now it was Luffy's turn to attack, but due to his immense advantage, he let his first mate deal with them. "Zoro, I want you to finish them. You can use 3 swords and keep your eyes open." Hearing his permission to use Santoryu from his captain was like music in his ears. He quickly unsheated Wado Ichimonji, Sandai Kitetsu and Yubashiri, to attack Mr. Five. The latter only watched the swordsman run at him. "You do realize you'll explode with me if you hit me? My whole body is a bomb." Zoro just shook his head. "Not with this attack, pal. Santoryu, Tatsumaki." The green-haired created a tornado with sharp compressed air projectiles, which hit the Baroque agent in the distance, without Zoro hurting himself. The bomb man exploded, fainting after that strong attack and his body reaction. Miss Valentine was shocked. Her partner was brought down by an unnamed pirate, or at least that's what she thought. "Mr. Five," she loudly exclaimed, caring for her partner. The walking lemon then turned to the man who bested her partner. "You will pay for what you did to him. 10,000 kilo guillotine," the female shouted, doing exactly what she did before, only stretching out her leg. Zoro closed his eyes. Once again, everything was moving slowly in his head. He concentrated and focused on Miss Valentine's aura after the green-haired located it. "I might be a beginner in hockey, but I can definitely do this." He waited for the right moment and dodged, by rolling to the side on the floor. After crashing into the ground made of stone and dried dirt, the Baroque agent let out a loud scream fueled by pain, before passing out. This scream was loud enough to wake up Usopp and Sanji, who came out of the building a minute later, groggy. Usopp saw the unconscious bodies of everybody, and asked what happened. Sanji on the other hand, only had eyes for Miss Valentine's body. Seeing how Zoro was the only one close to her, he figured the green-haired was the reason this beautiful mademoiselle was hurt. "What the hell, Marimo, you hurt this beautiful mademoiselle? I will not allow any man to hurt a lady." "Poitrine shoot," Sanji yelled, straight up attacking Zoro, aiming for his chest. The swordsman became furious at this and blocked his nakama's kick with his swords. His face turned red and his teeth sharp. "You stupid fucking useless good-for-nothing cook. I worked my ass off to save us all. Then you attack me for finishing off our enemy? Ungrateful bastard. That was so expectable from you." His fury was kind of justified. The cook clenched his teeth. "Enemy or not, anybody who dares to hit a woman is dead in my eyes," he called, trying to hit his friendly rival's left hip. Zoro blocked it again. His attitude changed from burning anger to mockery. "That's why you'll probably die by a woman one day, not that it matters me," curly brows. Before either of them could continue their minor clash, Nami stepped in and punched both of them on their heads. "Quiet, you. The princess is gonna tell something." The 2 fighters of the Straw Hats stood up, one with an annoyed face, the other one with a hard-eyed face in love. "You're a princess? Oh, Princess Chan. Let me be your gardener. I'll be at your service whenever you want." Vivi looked at the cook for a second. "Is that guy serious?" she thought, then shaking her head to focus again. "Okay, I don't know what kind of pirates you are, but listen closely, I'm going to tell you everything from the beginning." She began, being interrupted by Sanji shortly after. "Princess Schwan, you're so pretty when you're serious," he raved, moving slippery like an eel. The royal just sighed. "I am from the kingdom of Alabasta, not far from here. An evil organization called Baroque Works is secretly trying to take over my country by triggering a rebellion against the king. They claim they want to create a perfect state where everybody has a higher social status, but that's a lie. I've never believed them anyway, so Igaram and I infiltrated this organization, and we were right. The true goal of Baroque Works is to make their leader the new king." She explained, the others upset by this organization's true goals. "How mean?" Usopp spoke, slamming his fist into his palm. "We've infiltrated the organization and found out how the system works. The highest ranking officers are always paired, due to security measures to keep the organization secret. Each member has a code name. The male member of a pair has a number as his code name, the female member a day. The higher the rank, the lower the number, with the leader being Mr. Zero. Then there are the henchmen, the millions and billions. Luckily, Igaram and I managed to get a higher rank, which allowed me to find out who the leader of Baroque Works is. It's Sir Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai. The blue net continued, inflicting fear in the weakling duo. Shichibukai? The navigator exclaimed, shuddering and putting her hand in front of her mouth. Like the one who almost cut through Zoro's gut. The skilled sharpshooter added, also shuddering, but not as much as his female nakama. Yes. Sir Crocodile, there's nothing good to say about him. He's a devil who has killed almost as many people as there's sand in the desert. That's why he has a bounty of 81 million berry. He's ruthless, unscrupulous, and every other word that describes him. A monster who will go over countless bodies to get what he wants. Many of my people will die because of him if we don't stop him. Vivi spat, expressing her abhorrence towards Crocodile. 81 million berry? The orange-haired exclaimed again, trembling like an earthquake. Sometimes, Luffy was really annoyed with Nami's anxiety. His bounty was almost as high as Crocodile's, yet she still shivered like someone on the North Pole, considering bounties around this range are nothing compared to the ones of people like Jack or Katakurii. I wonder if she'll always stay like this, he thought, before continuing to listen to his future temporary nakama. I know it's much for me to ask this, but will you help me save my country? I already asked your captain. He said yes, but what about you? Please, I don't want my people to die, the caring princess begged, addressing the other Straw Hats. Zoro didn't want to at first. He still held a grudge on her. Why should I help you? He asked. You tried to kill me, then you didn't even apologize. Vivi started to slowly comprehend her wrongdoing. I'm sorry, really sorry, I didn't trust you back then, please forgive me, the blue-haired apologized on her knees. The green-haired sighed. Fine, he muttered, emotionless. But only because Luffy would want me to forgive you. She gasped in relief. And what about you? The girl asked Nami, Usopp and Sanji. The stingy ginger looked at her with a face saying, only under one condition. Okay. 1 billion berry is maybe too much, but I want 500 million in return for helping you, the 18-year-old declared. Vivi looked at her fellow female with, sweating a bit. Alabasta is currently suffering heavy droughts. The economy is not very good right now, and I repeat, the kingdom is on the verge of a civil war, but after you stop them, you can have some gold or jewels, Alabasta has lol stated, somewhat annoyed with the greedy girl, still not expressing it. Nami's eyes turned to berry signs. I'm helping you. Now that was a short answer, Vivi thought, not irritated at all. And I'm also helping you, I'm the great Captain Usopp. Usopp spoke, making his typical Captain Usopp pose. I'm also helping you, Princess Schwan, Sanji raved. The way he was moving was the weirdest thing the Alabastan had ever seen. You can call me Vivi from now on, she said, sweat dropping. Okay Vivi-chan. Meanwhile, Igaram got back on his feet, knocking dust off his suit. He cleared his throat before he spoke. Listen everyone, I have a plan. He began with a serious voice, getting everyone's attention. I will dress up as Princess Vivi, and escape with my ship. This way I'll try to lead away potential threats and enemies, while you'll safely escort Princess Vivi to Alabasta, understand? The Straw Hats nodded in agreement and Luffy spoke up. Yosh, it's settled then. Let's go. Luffy's POV set sail at sunrise, leaving Cactus Island behind. Our log pose would lead us to Little Garden. Memories. Our relationship with Vivi improved a little. We told her our names, introduced ourselves, and stuff like that. I think she liked us a little after an hour or so, even though we, the boys, tried to eat her super spot-built duck. Nami and her hit us on our heads, but man, I'd like to eat one of them one day. Suddenly, in the far, Igaram's ship exploded. Vivi watched in tears. She cried like the first time her servant died. Kinda like Sabo. I used my observation haki just to be sure, and he was alive, just like I expected him to be. Shortly after that, a familiar intruder appeared on our ship, sitting on the railing. Why hello there, Princess Vivi. I see you're with pirates now, interesting. The female spoke with such a calm and elegant voice. My heart beat faster. Probably the same with Zoro, maybe Usopp, and especially Sanji. Our new friend certainly wasn't happy about her presence. She clenched her fists and veins popped up on her wrists and upper face. You killed Igaram, she snapped at her. Maybe I killed him, maybe not. Her voice was playful and attracting. As expected, our perverted chef was the first to fall for her. Who could have blamed him though? Her purple clothes were pretty revealing. Her light desert tan, shiny black hair and dark blue eyes were beyond beautiful. My, what does a beautiful lady like you want on a pirate ship? He politely asked, trying to charm her. He offered her fancy-looking smoothie ice cream in a martini glass, a straw pipe placed in it. The raven-haired took a sip out of Sanji's creation and complimented him, making him literally melt. Zoro, showing signs of getting attracted, decided to ask her name. Who are you, and for what purpose are you here? My future nakama got down from the railing. I miss all Sunday, and don't worry, I'm free from all orders right now, I'm just enjoying my free time. She said, turning her attention to Vivi. Princess, would you like to tell me your friends who I am? The brunette stood there still, scared of her enemy. She's Crocodile's partner. Vivi stammered, trying to hold back a flow of anger. So you found out the boss's name? The tanned woman ironically complimented. Congratulations, but may I remind you it was me who let you find out his real identity? I did you a favor, but in return I told Crocodile who the infiltrators were. Doesn't this seem fair? You are the reason Igaram died. You are the reason Igaram died.
Wow, I completely forgot how angry Vivi can get sometimes. If I was in her case, I'd get too. Then I noticed how Vivi cried, sniveling. Technically, she was my nakama, even if temporary. Normally, I'd have to make my future nakama pay for making my current nakama cry, but I made an exception, considering Igaram wasn't dead.
Straw Hat, Luffy, dead or alive, 80 million berry. The blue-eyed remarked, seeing my wanted poster. Impressive first bounty. How old are you, boy? It's obvious you're the captain, judging by your beautiful captain's coat and your straw hat. She asked me what my age is. Now we're getting closer. I thought, opting to keep up the conversation. I'm 17. Miss All Sunday grabbed my straw hat with her devil fruit powers and put it on her head, replacing it with her cowboy hat she gave me in return. Everyone else stared at her in disbelief, surprised by her creepy seeming ability. I grabbed her hat and stretched my arm out to switch hats again. Sorry, the straw hat is all mine. This made her curious, for sure. Oh, a devil fruit user. What fruit did you eat? She asked, playful as always. Gomu no mi. I'm a rubber man. What fruit did you eat? Yours seems a lot more interesting than mine. She giggled lightly, showing her amusement in our conversation. The Hana no mi. I can sprout body parts from the surface of any living thing or object. Sounds creepy, right? I shrugged. Nah, not really. The others just watched us, probably thinking, how can Luffy and her have such a peaceful conversation? They're enemies. I am, in fact, extremely amused by this. My enemy said something again. I like you, you're an interesting boy, and an even more interesting person. That was nice to hear from her. I can now understand her better, since my soul is 29, whereas my body is 17, which makes me biologically 17 and spiritually 29. I like you too, considering we're enemies. I replied. Gosh, what a monotone conversation, I would have slept in if I hadn't matured. The Oharan smiled once more, tossing me an eternal pose. This is an eternal pose to Nanamani Island. A closer island to Alabasta doesn't exist. Take it as a gift from me, she spoke, deciding to help us a little. Without thinking twice, I tossed it back. Sorry, I'm the captain of this ship, so I decide where we're going. Nobody tells me where we're going, except my navigator. Besides, I really want to visit Little Garden. The raven-haired beauty smirked. Good. I'm leaving, but I warn you, a log pose needs 1 year to recharge on Little Garden. Her warning was definitely meant good, possibly even realized by the others, except Sanji, who still had nothing but perverted thoughts in his head. I have a feeling this won't be the last time we see each other. I forecasted, which would 1000% come true. I feel it too. With that, she disappeared like a flash. Our reunion was better than I have imagined, my dear archaeologist. After I get Chopper and kick Croxy's ass, you'll join my crew and be my nakama, Nico Robin. Just a little later, I walked over to Vivi, who was still sniveling about Igaram's death. Igaram isn't dead. I whispered into her ear. Judging by her look, she believed me and was very happy about that revelation. Thank you. I almost cackled at that, but managed to control myself in the last second. Don't thank me for not letting Igaram die. Thank Miss All Sunday. Her expression after that was priceless. Nobody's paw. The Straw Hats got closer and closer to Little Garden, where undescribable adventures would wait for them.